pistol round. Snap that one up fairly quickly. Interesting buy here as well. Heavy on the SMGs. Now, usually I don't agree with this too much, as it can be countered by the Tech-9 sort of fast rushes towards drop down, but on a map like Cobblestone, it's not as bad. You've still got range to play with. Let's see what Robin can actually try and find here as well. Rattling down. Does take down Brody with that nade. Stanley finds one as well.
Nice little bit of pistol work coming out from Robin as well. Picks 3 easy picks up at the end of that round, and you know, he'd already sprayed them down a little bit with that SMG, and it was just a nice little bit of cleanup from him with that USP, and that's going to net them a second round on the trot now for Heinz UK, and they're going to be able to stick with those SMGs. They don't really need to go for any kind of reinvestment into this round. They're going to know that that full eco is going to be there from Xenex. A couple of P250s and a Tech-9 coming in, but realistically, not anything to shout about here for Xenex.
Yeah, Robin, look at this positional play here, though. Unfortunately, he is blind. He's going to be stumbling around, wants to try and find the frags, but we'll take down one. Brody getting dropped very easily. Stanley as well in the rear. Unfortunately, will give himself away. Got a little bit anxious and fired off a couple of pop shots, but they are making their play towards that A bomb site. There could be a backstab actually coming out from Shiki here, though, on towards Stanley.
Certainly could. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to find it. Shaney finds one onto T-Sack, though. Stanley coming all the way around and does get spotted out, but it doesn't matter anyway. Finishes off JT. And now we're going to see Fry there. Going to get out that molly and just try and take control of the situation, because Pickles is all on his own and will get shut down by Jenko in the end. So that's the 3 free rounds out of the way. And now Xenex are going to be in a good position to actually get some weaponry to work with and start to actually contest this scoreline that Heinz have built up.
Yeah, the AWP coming out there on towards Shaney as well. Let's see what they're going to go for on this T side. Sending Shaney towards mid very early on. Most likely just going to go for the lurk, not really try and go over aggressive. Just if there is any pushes, try and shut them down and counter it. Actually could find the opening frag if Stanley does try and contest here towards mid. But we'll be holding the defensive sort of passive angle, just seeing if that mid aggression comes out. Meanwhile, though, Peekaboo towards the B bomb site. They've bursted out already, Joe.
Yeah, and that's already going to be a kill going the way of Jenko, but it's traded back across by JT. And there's a nice little double spray. Actually, doesn't connect the second one, and JT finds his second of the round. He's doing a fantastic job on this site, and if he can just grab that bomb, maybe he's going to be able to put it down, and that would be very good news for Xenex, because they're 3 rounds down right now, and they've got to try and find something, but that little boost from Robin. I mean, I feel like we see Robin on top of that box every single round on the CT side, and it always seems to work out for him.
It's a great position to utilise, even sort of mid-round as well, if you can boost someone up there to try and get them out of a bit of a sticky situation. So it's always good to see coming into effect. Shiki will find that frag on towards Stanley. Shaney as well takes down T-Sack, and it just falls on the man we spoke about. Robin, trapped here, will be able to upgrade to that Kalashnikov, but can he find the frag? Spamming away, takes down Shaney. One more man to keep this win streak going. It'll be 4 rounds on the trot for Heinz, but can he find the final shot? Shiki, 10 HP, Joe.
Yeah, and he's got 40 seconds to play with still, so, you know, he's got time on his side, but the bomb is over by the statue, and that means that Shiki has his work cut out. That is going to be the kill going the way of Robin, and I mean, you said, kind of, is he going to be able to finish off the frags, but when it's Robin you're talking about, the answer is almost always yes. He finds 2 headshots for himself, he finds 2 frags, but more importantly, he finds the round for Heinz, and that is going to be a very, very crucial round. Now Xenex, once again, down to just about 0 cash to work with. And we'll see. I mean, if they can make anything happen with this kind of Tech-9 buy, a couple of Deagles coming through as well. They're obviously looking to try and do some economic damage, but they've got to land those shots. They've got to find those entries, because if they lose the man advantage just to kick off the round, it's kind of curtains for the rest of that round.
Yeah, you want to try and find what you can with that there, really. I mean, if you can get the bomb planted, that's going to be the most beneficial factor. You just want to try and build as much cash as possible, find the frags if possible, but it is a little bit of a struggle. So, I mean, right now, just holding out here. Let's see for those frags, but we'll be jumping back in with that shortly. I mean, it's looking good for Heinz right now, though. Obviously, that CT half, very dominant early on. It's kind of what we expected to see, and it's the best way to play it. Because if you can snub down Xenex before they try and get a little bit of a roll going on their T half, they're going to be sort of so disgruntled and really struggling to try and get that revitalised on their CT half. Yeah,
they certainly will be, but we will be able to get the game back on your screens shortly, guys. But I'll just let you know that Heinz have managed to win a 5th round on the trot now, which means Xenex should have a little bit of cash to be working with. They'll be able to get a little bit of a buy coming on in, a couple of AKs, and they've got some extra money to work with as well, but it looks like a pause is going to be coming on through. Not 100% sure who it is that paused that one, but we'll see. Oh, it looks like it's an admin pause, in fact. So we should be able to get the game underway shortly, as I believe we're having a couple of little issues, but should be fine. And I mean, if you're in the shoes of Xenex right now, what is it that has to be going through your head to kind of get your morale back and get back into the game? Will your morale be broken by this point, 5-0 down in your first game of the tournament?
Oh no, definitely not. I mean, you're not too far gone at all. Obviously, the first 3 rounds are basically a write-off off the back of not being able to pick up that pistol round. They didn't want to try and do anything too crazy. They weren't really able to get into a good situation to get the bomb planted. So our economy was always kind of a little bit iffy. Haven't been able to even find their way into the site to get that bomb planted yet. They had what seemed to be their best round yet with their assault on towards B bomb site when they actually had weapons. They've got cash to work with now. They're in a bit of an economy sort of strat where they are going to be okay. They can try and go for it once again. If we see him going for that play towards the bomb site, just prop Shaney towards mid once again. Allow him to deny any early rotates. It's going to be a good spot. They knew they could find their way in. Obviously, unfortunately, it was just Robin. He was in a nice spot where it's hard to find that frag from Shiki's position. Robin, very easy. You can just sort of hold back there. So he was able to easily take him down and go on to win the round. So if they return to attacking towards that B bomb site, go for that structure, leave Shaney to cut off the rotates at mid, they definitely can find it. They've got the potential. I mean, Cobble as well was a map sort of, when we saw them as Rise, they were able to kick up a fuss as well. It's not like it was a map, they'd never play or sort of despised, really. So it's going to be interesting as it progresses, but they're definitely not out of it just yet, Joe. And jumping back into round 6, this is where it's going to get interesting once again.
Yeah, certainly will. It looks like the unpause should be coming through shortly. And we'll be able to get round 6 underway and see whether Team Xenex are going to be able to put a dent in the armour of Heinz UK, who have been taking this castle by storm so far. But it's certainly going to be a tall task for Xenex. But as we have already mentioned, the power of Robin on the CT side, and not to mention the rest of his squad. You've got the AWP in the hands of Stanley as well. You've got Fry, you've got Janko. I mean, all of these players, when you look down the lineup of Heinz UK, these are some ridiculously good players, and some of the top players in the UK. So it's definitely, even just looking at the scoreboard before the game begins, you've already got to be kind of quaking in your boots a little bit looking at some of these players and thinking, we have to play an absolute blinder to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of talent on either side here, really. Sort of more of the old guard on the side of Xenex. It's going to be interesting for me as well. I want to see how Pickles is going to perform here. Obviously, a player that's definitely very fantastic in some of his stuff. Had a fairly good LAN as well previously at iSeries, so it's going to be good. Obviously, I know him from being one of the better Left 4 Dead 2 players as well in the UK, Joe. He's very exciting to play with me. So if we jump into this, let's see how it's going to go. They make their way once again towards that B bomb site. This is what I wanted to see. You proffer Janey here, allow him to try and wait for those rotates, right? Only problem is that doesn't help when they rotate their way towards B.
What an accolade to have, one of the best UK Left 4 Dead 2 players. Well, there you go. I mean, there was a bit of a competitive scene for it, I know that. I've never actually got involved in it myself. I can't say I'm an expert, but regardless of Left 4 Dead, the fight is going to be kicking off, and Pickles opens things up, and already there's going to be a couple more kills rattling on through, but it's going to be Fry finding one over towards the stairs, and he gets a second one as well onto Shiki. And suddenly there's only 2 terrorists remaining, but they're looking to change their tune right now as they find one of those CTs hiding right at the back of the site, and now this could be their opportunity to set that bomb down for the first time this game.
Yeah, this is good, Joe. Going able to go on that frag. Shaney will get the bomb planted as well. So JT and Shaney left standing. 2 of these players that you'd want in this sort of situation, right? They've got the experience. They've definitely got the firepower. It just depends if Heinz are going to allow them to find the frags. Unfortunately not. JT does get picked off. Robin spraying away with that M4 will be able to rip through him. Shaney has to find the sniffle frag. Brings it back into 1v1. Nice little flick there. He's got to have his patience. Just hold his composure. Has no reason to go for these overpeaks, but he is going to get forced up on the box. He lands the shot anyway and takes down Stanley. Finally, Xenex coming back in with the B play. They get the round.
What a beautiful shot there. And just as you say, he's got no reason to go for the overpeak. The molly lands, and that is that reason. That's the catalyst for action. And he jumps out, AWP in hand, and takes the extra frag. And that is going to be finally Xenex onto the board. Heinz, obviously, they'd won 5 rounds in a row. They've got that cash to work with. They can go for the full rebuy pretty comfortably. But if Xenex can turn this into a second round, they're looking to get a shoe-in on this game. But Heinz have a glorious opportunity right now to fully reset the economy of Xenex if they can just win this round.
That's what I'm terrified about here, Joe, because that's the thing, as you were saying. If Heinz pick this one up, Xenex reset, they're going to be back to a situation that's just going to be horrific. They have to try and get that cash flow going again, and it's just going to be hard. Really puts a dampener on things, but Pickles dropping in will be aided by JT there. Finds the frag towards T-Sack. Unfortunately, Fry just reacted far too quickly, ripped his way through 2 of them. They do equalise in a 3 versus 3 situation here, and it just depends. There's still a lot of potential to work with. 1 minute and 10 left on the clock. You've still got utility in the side of Xenex. They don't have to do anything too ridiculous here. They can take it slow and still try and pick up this round, but Stanley holding the rotate, he's going to be the man to watch as they creep round.
Absolutely, and I mean, you mentioned utility. Both teams still with those grenades, but Stanley getting close to a headshot here is Shaney. Is going to be the one to peek, and he will get finished off. Brody comes around and is going to be able to trade it, though. So, again, the equalizer comes on through. 2 versus 2 now. As we're going to see, the terrorists are actually split up here. We've got one over towards B, or towards mid, actually. And then one heading on around towards that A site. It's going to be Brody over towards A. And he has the bomb, but that's going to be a shot onto Fry. That should have been a kill, surely, for Fry. But he doesn't connect his shots, and Shiki punishes him more than happily. Now Robin arriving on the B site. The bomb's nowhere to be seen, but Shiki's going to finish him off anyway. And Xenex, they're back in this game.
Yeah, and that was smart as well, because you can see Robin confused there. Thought the bomb would have been on that B bomb site. Assumed they would have gone in together, but they went for the risky play with Brody still trying to make his way to towards the A bomb site. So even if they would have been able to come in, find the frag on Shiki, it would have been hard for him to get into a good position to actually take down Brody. So Xenex, they link them together. Now they've done the complete opposite. They've been able to burst the bubble on the side of Heinz. They have no real money left to play with. So this is where it gets interesting. But I don't want to see overconfidence here, right, Joe? Xenex, they need to just slow it down, play what they've been playing, hold off for aggressive faces from Heinz. They just need to wait for the frags to come to them. If we see him charging in headstrong here, that's where the cracks are going to show.
Certainly is, but with just pistols in hands for these Heinz players, it's definitely going to be a tall task to hold this one. But if you can find these close range fights, those P250s will find the headshots and they will take those skulls apart. So certainly it's still around that you have to play safe, right, from Xenex. You can't just, as you said, you can't just go headstrong. You can't just do anything ridiculous, because the second you get caught out by those pistols, the second that Heinz start to pick up some of those rifles, that's when it really starts to get just a little bit dicey. And it looks like the A site is going to be the call. Shaney going to be watching out with the AWP. Does have Stanley sneaking on up long, but it's going to be Brody finding one with his AK as well. On to Jenko, and Stanley now sneaking on round. He's got his 5-7, but he can't find his shots, and unfortunately gives away his position and doesn't get anything for it.
Look at this, the rotate coming in as well here. They have a little bit of a pincer. It just depends if JT and Co can actually find these frags. JT going to be spamming away. We'll take down one. Stanley fires back. Shiki keeps it up as he takes down Robin. Stanley, he's been able to scab himself an AK-47. Can he actually find the frags? Can he deal the damage with this absolute weapon? Creeps his way up. Just going to be peeking up from mid here. Shiki, not in a great spot, is able to rattle him down. Comes into a good situation here as T-Sack actually finds one onto JT as well. Shaney left with the AWP. We know how powerful he can be with this weapon. Lands the first shot, but he's got to connect the second, trying to get a good peek on towards Stanley. You can see he's eager to go for it, but Stanley runs straight into his crosshairs and he pulls the trigger, and they keep it going. Xenex looking good right now.
Yeah, Xenex on a bit of a roll. They're starting to link some rounds together, but Heinz, they're ready and raring to stop it in its tracks, because they are back in the money and they've got some weaponry to work with. Armor's going to be coming on through, as well as a fair bit of utility. Not an ideal buy for either team, if I'm honest. I mean, you look at the amount of grenades that are in the hands, but you know, it's something to work with, and those rifles, so long as you can connect the headshots, at the end of the day, if you can click well enough, the grenades don't matter.
That's very true indeed, though. Especially as well, you're trying to need that more utility on that T side rather than anything, so you can actually find your way, and it helps on the CT side, you can actually zone people out. But there's not even been too much of that. Heinz, really, they've been sort of proffering Xenex to try and go for those faces. They want to take the fights. You can see very eager for that sort of style of CS and taking those aim battles. Heavy stack towards the B1 side here with those 4 players climbing close by. They're aware that it's been under a lot of onslaught time and time again. I assume by now they've sort of switched on to the positioning of Shaney as well, so they aren't going for any mid faces. They can just hold back. They know when they rotate, they can just go for the long rotate. But here comes that initiation. Xenex burst their way in.
Yeah, it's going to be Robin finding one to start, but T-Sack gets taken out by Pickles at the same time, and suddenly this attacking squad is starting to lose numbers. Just 3 terrorists remaining for the side of Xenex, and Shiki is looking for an opportunity to even things up, but I don't think Robin is going to go for this peak. Well, as I say that, he is going to go for it and manages to win the aim battle somehow while he's on the peak, and that is going to be Fry chiming in as well. Suddenly Stanley's alone. He's got an AWP to work with. I feel like this is a situation we've seen before in this game. But here we go. Whether or not Stanley can find those shots, that would have been a beautiful flick if he'd found it. But he does get one. I don't know why I'm saying Stanley. It was Shaney all along. Imposter coming on through with the AWP.
Yeah, I mean, that is unfortunate as well. Good stuff from Heinz, obviously bouncing back. Now they've actually got the economy to work with, and Xenex, even though they were getting rounds there, Joe, it was always coming down to the wire, so their economy was never really getting to a stable spot. It was always quite fluctuating, and now it's been left broken again, quite dusted, so we'll have to just go for the P250s. Seems like it is going to be a B play. If we see something aggressive coming out, off the bat they've only got the one flashbang, they might be able to get in, find a couple of frags, just do something to get the round over with, but it seems like they're actually going to play it slow. Possibly a late round drop down assault, which is actually good right now with the setup Hines have gone for, apart from the nade going into their faces and transferring a ridiculous amount of damage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're already on just pistols, that is not what you want to see, and there should be some easy kills coming through for Hines. But as I say that, actually, they're getting taken apart. Suddenly, there's only 2 rifles left. These rifles are going to be picked up by Xenex as well, but Robin comes in from behind, and he's against unarmored opponents, so he's going to be able to just mow them down. Suddenly, Brody, last man remaining, he's against 2 rifles as well, and he is going to get dropped. That's going to be Hines managing to take control of the situation once more. It looked a little bit dicey for a while, but I think Robin kind of saved the day there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good spot. That's the thing. Obviously, Hines, the way they were set up, it did kind of complement that play from Xenex. They went for it. Possibly if they didn't actually all get tagged by that nade as well, that extra little bit of health might have helped them out. They might have been able to do a bit more. But even then, stellar eco round for them. You get the bomb down, you leave it with just 2 players left on Hines. You've basically forced them to go for a complete rebuy across the board. You can see the effects that there a little bit as well. T-Sack going to go for the Mag 7. Now, in the past, I would have said, that's not too bad. You know, you basically knocked a rifle out of play here. But that Mag 7 can be so powerful, depending on what T-Sack actually opts to go for with this as well. If we see him playing towards drop down, we know that weapon's going to be devastating. So Xenex, now it comes into that factor as well. You need to try and complement your range, because up close, T-Sack might pop out of nowhere, just blindside you.
Yeah, and to be honest, when you go towards drop down, sometimes I feel like the Mag 7 actually has the advantage over some of these rifles, especially because, I mean, realistically, you don't have to be that amazing at aiming if you can get the full blast over to them. That is going to be Robin finding one onto JT to start things off, and here comes the charge over on towards this B site, but I don't think it's going to be enough right now because the players are dropping left, right and centre, and they are just going to be melted on down. Hines UK grab themselves another round, and we're starting to get towards the end of this first half, and it is not looking fantastic for Xenex.
It's definitely not. I mean, it's unfortunate as well because they had a few sort of opportunities, but every time it's kind of been like they've started to feed the coal into the engine, it started to rev up, and then they've just hit sank along the line and have never been able to recover off the back of that. So it's a bit unfortunate. Back onto these pistols, returning to that B-bomb site assault though. Shaney just lurking towards mid. It's not going to work out as well unless he just goes for a bit of a distraction play, because no one goes overly aggressive on mid. Everyone on Hines has been playing very far back. Stanley this time around is going to try and play into it, but meanwhile they've already kicked things off on the B-bomb site. Jenko comes with a frag on towards Brody. Got the back of his teammates as well. And now, something that's also quite scary, Joe, is Jenko on that B-bomb site. I mean, he is definitely one of those players that can hold that down single-handedly. So he's going to be quite a nuisance to deal with. Robin having to try and find these frags at mid as well, and he is struggling right now. Will get taken down, but a 2 versus 3 when they're armed to the teeth on Hines. Xenex, they're in a little bit of a sticky spot.
Yeah, but at the same time, they do have themselves 2 AKs to work with, so if they can connect just one more headshot without taking any damage, maybe they'll be in with a chance on this round. It could be what they need. And also, you got to bear in mind that there is a player over towards B for the side of Hines. So, essentially, for now, they are in a 2 versus 2. But JT going to be the first one to check the corner, and Fry is going to punish him for that completely. And Pickles, very much in a pickle right now, and has to consider whether he wants to go for this or maybe just tries to hold on to the AK. Does manage to find a shot onto Fry, though, so at least he's found something for himself. But still in a 2 versus 1. It's not going to be a particularly fantastic situation to be trying to get into as he moves on towards this A site. Doesn't know where T-Sack is, and actually just going to plant the bomb right next to him. I think as he peeked there, he realised the gun barrel was there just after he'd started planting. So, yeah, bit of a disastrous situation. And unfortunately, can't get away with the round.
Yeah, unfortunate as well. Pickles doing a good job. Sort of actually had a lot of composure later into that round, and that's something that I've sort of noticed about him as well. He actually seems quite confident in a lot of these sort of more clutch-based situations, which is always good. You want players like that are going to be quite level-headed in those situations, and it's not something sort of I expected to see coming out from him, but more so it seems to be sort of the case in a lot of these. Right now, though, Xenex return to that mid-aggression, seeing if they can just storm their way up through Matrix and batter their way out onto towards the A site. Stanley has an AWP in his hands, but it's going to be Robin with the M4, who's the one causing all the havoc. 3K instantly rails them down, wants another one on towards Pickles, but unfortunately, Pickles isn't going to feed him it just yet. Shiki coming in from behind, though, in the rear, but doesn't give Stanley a chance. It doesn't matter, though. Stanley's able to just flick round, take him down. Robin with that final frag of the round. And Hines, I mean, they're just looking unbeatable right now. Situations where they should be punished, and they're able to get away with it every time.
Yeah, and I've got to say, the 3 kills from Robin at the start of that round, I caught it on my screen. It's just on auto director. I just happened to catch it. He threw a high explosive grenade down into mid and just kind of mowed them down as they all came on through, lawnmower style. And that is going to be another round now for Heinz, and it means that with just 2 rounds left in this half, Xenex are looking at a dire scoreline regardless of how well they do at this point, at least in this first half. But a little bit of damage has been done, and made that a lot of damage as Shiki's head is going to get taken clean off of his shoulders, and Fry's looking for more as he gets that second one. Brody does shut him down in the end, but realistically, I don't know if that's enough of a trade when Fry's just taking heads left, right, and centre.
There's the thing left on the trio in Xenex, JT, Shaney, and Brody. They are trapped in a little bit of awkward situations right now. I mean, they haven't been really pushed on. They can just hold out, but it's awkward in terms of no utility left to work with. You're not going to find your way in towards these sites. Heinz, they're in a much better spot. Shaney does have a little bit of breathing room now, actually. Yeah, he's been able to creep over in towards Matrix. You can see that call coming out as he wants to try and get his teammates to shuffle over, but Stanley's on the case, and he's got that AWP, and we know how damaging he can be, Joe. Easy shots for him here if he can find the frags.
Yeah, we've already seen Stanley doing some crazy things earlier on in this game, and just about misses out on a frag there. And actually, Shaney might find himself with a golden opportunity. He's not been spotted as he snuck onto the site. Now, finally does get caught out by one of those CTs and will get finished off as well. It could have been beautiful, but it does get shut down in the end. Brody as well going to be dropped by Stanley, and if he had just snuck that a little bit extra, if he'd managed to get onto that site and behind that hut, that could have been absolutely gorgeous in that round, but unfortunately it does get caught out by Robin, who peeked his nose around that door, and that is going to be lights out for Xenex. And now, last round of the half, the force buy has to come in from Xenex here. Pickles with just the Desert Eagle. I want to see what he can do with his hand cannon.
Yeah, if he can actually find anything here, cause a little bit of stir towards that B-bomb site. They're going to try and make their play in. Shiki actually runs speeding out with that UMP in hand, that SMG tapping away. An awful lot of damage transferred on towards Jenko before he finds the frag as well. Fry will fire back. Shaney comes in with one of his own. These SMGs proving to be a little bit of a powerhouse play right now for Xenex. Brody, the man with a rifle, but unfortunately couldn't connect the shots. Isn't going to matter though. It will be recycled. These frags are just coming out. The defense on the CT side looking far too powerful before Pickles all of a sudden gets a second wind. 4 HP left on him. Shaney on 22. Fry, he should be the preferred player in this spot. Should be the one to win it. Will take down Shaney with a headshot, but can he connect the final one on towards Pickles? 4 HP, a single shot will all it take, and he will be able to find the frag. It's going to be a 12-3 half. And I mean, Xenex, it's a shame, you know, this is what we didn't want to see happen, Joe. Heinz coming in, just ripping their way through on their T side. It's going to be so hard for him now to try and really revitalise himself on their CT half.
And I've got to say, Fry, his aim has been so perfect today. Like headshot after headshot, just finding them instantly. And I mean, the long-range M4 play coming out from him as well. Just take a look at the scoreboard right now. 22 kills for Fry. You got 23 on Robin as well. I mean, T-Sack and Jenko, they don't even have to play if they don't want. They can just go and get some chips or something, because right now, Fry and Robin more than happy to take this win on their own at this stage. And you look at the other side of the scoreboard, it's kind of just left with something to desire still. You've got to see something else coming out of Xenex right now, and we have to see a super strong CT side coming out of them because, well, I mean, the score is on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. 4 rounds away from Heinz taking this first game in convincing style.
Well, this is what worries me as well, is because even though they've got the extra structure and you expect to see some good things coming out from them on their CT half, it's Heinz on a T half on a map like Cobblestone where they're just going to be able to burst their way out, just bring an abundance of chaos straight towards you. It's going to be a bloodbath right here. Let's see how this first round's actually going to kick off as well. Pickles with the opener. What a sniper of a shot. Shaney comes in with one as well. These USBs causing damage across the board. I mean, what a sick way to start it off for Xenex.
Yeah, absolutely insane stuff starting things off. Shaney is going to get caught in the bottom of the stairs as well and surrounded from every angle. Pickles is still there trying to find more headshots, but Fry with the last one in his chamber. Everyone knows that does a bit of extra damage, and it is going to be enough to get the kill. 3 versus 3 now in this pistol round, and Xenex, they've got to be sweating right now. They've got to get this round on the board, because if they don't, they've pretty much forfeit the game at this stage. But everything has slowed down once more. Both teams kind of just taking a breather and saying, hey, this is an important pistol. You know, even just in the eyes of Heinz UK as well, they want to win this pistol. They just want to finish things now. They want to get into that second map and keep this momentum rolling. They don't want to give Xenex a single opportunity to get anything back on the board here.
Oh, see that shot coming out. Jenko takes down JT. Brody's going to fall as well, and it falls on towards Shiki, the in-game leader. Also very sneaky right now. Sneaky Shiki comes in from behind. Can the beast from the northeast actually come back and revitalise himself here? Will he be able to find these 3 frags, Joe? Or is this going to be Heinz snubbing him out very quickly as he slowly tiptoes around? Actually gets the shot on towards T-Sack. What a sick reaction there as he just snaps on towards his head, keeps the pain train rolling, wants to try and find another frag, but it isn't meant to be. Fry takes him down. And there you have it. Heinz returning to their old form, what we expected to see. But you can still see there's still signs Xenex. They've got that individual firepower. Yeah. They just can't get themselves into a great spot.
And that situation there, when you've got to push onto the A site, is so difficult. You basically just got to guess where they might be. And with 2 opponents still alive, you're just basically rolling the dice and hoping that you happen to be looking at the right bit of cover when they happen to peek out. Because other than that, you're just relying on them missing their shots, and that's never a situation you want to find yourself in. But already, Pickles, right at the start of the round, getting tagged down pretty heavily. That's going to be bad news for Xenex moving on forwards. And, you know, they've got some decent weaponry to work with in the form of the CZ in the hands of Shaky. Shaney even. He's making my voice shaky at this rate because he's taking heads left, right, and centre, and that's going to be Stanley chiming in as well as Fry. And suddenly, 3 versus 3 once more.
Yeah. I mean, that's not too horrific, actually. A couple of nice frags coming out, and it gets better and better. JT comes in and takes down Jenko. They've got potential into this round, even though there is a rifle advantage and they've got utility. Heinz, they're in good spots here, but Xenex, they have a little bit of a positional advantage if they can try and find these frags. Fry's actually going to spot out JT. Unfortunate for him. If he would have just held back, might have found something, but it doesn't matter. Brody, in from the rear, taps him down with the 5-7, gets the frag, and it leaves Stanley on his lonesome. He's over at B, though. He can get the bomb planted, but Xenex, is there potential for a retake?
There's always potential for a retake. Pickles, though, down on 2 HP, and with this MAC-10 in hand, Stanley should be able to finish him if he can find that 1v1, if he can find an opportunity to just get that single bullet across. But, you know, Desert Eagle in hand, Pickles, he can also get a single bullet kill if his aim is true, and they've already found their way onto the site. Stanley's going to be coming from behind here with the MAC-10. If he can find his shots, if he can stop them getting this defuse, he could be in with a chance, and he gets it just as he peeks away. Was in fact a wallbang. Brody just going to be waiting for this peek. He's found himself an AK, but he's decided it's too late. And Brody, I mean, he's going to be at least getting away with a rifle for himself. At least they pull something into the next round, and they force a lot of rebuys. But, you know, with 14 rounds on the board for Heinz, unless you win in the rounds, there's not really a good result.
And that was very well played from Stanley there as well. Nice bomb plant. He knew exactly where to peek that from. Didn't overextend. Only peek when he absolutely had to. So really nicely played. Good game sense actually on the board from Stanley. They're actually going to be able to pick up that round. Obviously, it was a good situation for him as well. Maybe if Pickles had armor, a little bit more HP, you never know. But what's done is done. Hindsight's 20/20. But let's see as they continue on into this round if there can be anything else. Xenex, possibly a last little bit of momentum to try and bring him back. Shaney is going to try and jump down, wants to try and cause a bit of a stir with that CZ. Can't quite find a frag just yet, and they are pushing their way on up. They find a bit of mid-presence here. Shaney, he's still lurking, actually.
Yeah, we saw crazy things from Shaney last round with that CZ. Well, these SMGs are doing serious work. The MAC-10 still in the hands of Stanley, and he's turning around trying to get another spray, and he will do so. Shaney going to be shut down early this round, and Pickles does finally punish that terrorist player, but I think that might just be too little too late because the bomb's now down on the B site, and neither of these CT players are anywhere to be seen. 4 terrorists still hovering around the map, and Brody and Pickles, I mean, what do you even do in this situation? Do you try and go for the miracle retake just for the sake of staying in the game right now?
You have to go for the stave. Like, at this point, it's literally, guys, we need to try and play it into OT. That's the only option you have. And, I mean, if they can hold on to their weapons, there's possibly potential to save you a little bit of cash. But when this happens, and you have to go for that full buy now across the board, you have to invest everything you have. Is literally, if we don't win this, it's the game. It's going to be a little bit of a shame. It's going to be a struggle. You can see they're debating, obviously, if they want to try and go on that AWP on Shaney as well. They are going to go for it, so it's going to be a glass cannon AWP. It's going to be interesting to see if that comes into effect, if that's going to be one of those sort of key plot points here, is the reason why they don't actually go through to win this round. But this is it. You invest all or nothing now. You've got to bang it down. You've got to go for the gamble.
Well, I've got to say, when you're in a situation like this, I fully agree with the kind of glass cannon AWP style of play. You've got to make things happen, and this is the way to do it if they can just connect these shots. And they're onto the B side, but Robin's found one. He's found 2 already, and he gets the hat-trick. All headshots and all glorious little kills. Heinz UK are looking to finish this game off in style. Pickles is left alone, and he gets shut down by Stanley as well. That is going to be Heinz UK with a 16-3 scoreline. The first game of the summer season here. And Heinz, they're making a statement.
Wow. I mean, you know, you said yourself, you thought Heinz was going to be that powerhouse. I expected to see it. They're one of these teams